Hello, my name's Jane and I'm going to be taking you through this presentation. I really hope you get a sense of why the arts is important to us at Sidegate and why we really value the importance of encouraging our children to learn through the arts. Please feel free to pause on certain slides as you go through. We all recognise pupils like this. Pupils who really struggle in the classroom. Pupils who feel that they haven't got a voice. Pupils that have wretched home lives. The arts provides them with an opportunity to really develop skills where they can develop confidence, resilience, creativity, and yes, find that voice. It is essential that every child has the opportunity to experience culture. Every child is entitled to experience music, dance, drama, visual arts, and have those cultural opportunities that are offered through museum visits, theatre, and art galleries. We know that these opportunities make a difference to children and that they gain ground, that their cultural capital is increased. It's important that teachers really have a good understanding of what is meant by cultural capital. On the next two slides, there are descriptions, there are links that you can follow and take you to other definitions of what cultural capital is. So, we believe that there are three main drivers that can be used to use the arts and to enhance the learning that's happening through the arts. We want to provide opportunities where our pupils will be inspired and give them first-hand opportunities to learn from experts and professionals. We want to provide those opportunities where they can create, and really our classrooms start to become a workshop or a studio environment that will provide a safe place for pupils to take those risks and to be a little adventurous in their learning. And then we don't want it to stop there. We want them to go on and inspire others. So we don't want to keep it to ourselves. We want to really sustain a culture of arts and creative learning by networking and sharing with other schools and other pupils. So as I mentioned before, we really want our classrooms and our learning environments to become workshop spaces, spaces where pupils can be ignited in their creativity and their work can be celebrated. So our classrooms are those workshops where the learning can take place, where desks can be pushed out of the way and space can be made, and we celebrate their work by displaying it and by encouraging others to see what's been happening. Inviting others in is another key thing. Here we can see some examples of professionals that we've had into our school. So we've had actors where they've really brought history alive for our pupils, and pupils have been engaged in very physical and active learning. We've also worked with commissioned artists, and here you can see a stained glass being fitted, and this was a project where we actually had young pupils across the school were stained glass apprentices, and they each got to lay a piece of glass. Actually, we got everybody involved from our governors, teachers, cleaners, support staff, everybody got to lay a piece of glass for the window to commemorate our 75th year as a school. But again, it was a project where we worked alongside an artist, and so the children were actually able to learn from the language and the techniques of a skilled professional. And we've worked with photographers, authors, dancers, you name it. We've tried to work alongside them and have them in working with our pupils. And we can see here a photographer. This was a project that we did a few years ago based on families, and we actually had families working alongside their own children with the professional photographer. And it became part of an exhibition that was in Ipswich, but also we were able to exhibit it in our own school as well. Learning together as a class through the arts really helps provide those safe places where pupils don't feel they're on show or they're having to do it, be that voice by themselves, but they can actually learn through a group activity and by doing something corporately as a class. On the slide, one slide here, you can see where we made giant puppets and 3 pupils were controlling the puppet and making it move. And again, this was a real great opportunity for participation in an activity where they didn't have to feel that they were the one on show. We also used that particular activity for a group of children that were actually really struggling to get along. And so actually working together on a project where they were having to work in a group of 3 provided that opportunity for them to share and to give and to contribute ideas and to stay back and let somebody else have their idea used. It really provided an opportunity through a different activity to help develop those friendships and that overcome those difficulties. Music is a really valuable component to learning. We have formal lessons for our Year 4 pupils where they work alongside teachers, peripatetic teachers from the County Music Service. But it is something that all teachers should gain confidence in delivering, and that music is used alongside all subject areas of the curriculum. Again, there's that place for performance. But art shouldn't be seen just as that final performance. It should be that journey that happens and takes place along the way. There's lots of learning happening there. We've also used networking with other schools and providing opportunities where we can work together with our feeder secondary schools and give our Year 5 and 6 children those opportunities to go to the high schools and to work alongside high school teachers in the environment of a real art room or a real studio or drama theatre, and give those opportunities where they can learn from somebody else. And this has been a really valuable opportunities that we've made happen. We want the creativity to be everywhere. So whether it's out on the playground where walls have been painted or whether it's within our corridors and hallways, we want our young people to see that actually their work can be celebrated in creative ways, that their learning environment is really important to us as well. And we want them to share with each other. We want our younger children to have those aspirations raised so that they can see the quality of work that's being produced and the things that they can look forward to when they get to those different year groups. Also encourages our older pupils to go down to the younger year groups and to see what learning's happening there and really to raise that level of expectation amongst them. No wall or space is left untouched. And so long as it meets health and safety regulations, then I would really encourage you to display and enhance that learning environment in whatever way you can. We've also worked alongside professional bodies, national bodies, so the Shakespeare Foundation, fantastic to get involved with. And we really felt this was important to involve all our children, not just those key children who always volunteer and always get involved in the after school clubs. But we made an aim to really engage our learners who were struggling, our pupil premium pupils, and our children from our special support classes. So those SEND children really got those opportunities to get involved. Again, we've got quotes from children here just talking about how it impacted them. And I can tell you there's nothing like watching a child that's really struggling in the classroom, that might be actually a year 6 pupil who is working at a year 2 level, and yet here they are in a professional venue, standing on a stage in front of an audience and delivering lines from Shakespeare in Shakespearean language and fully understanding what they're saying. It's a brilliant opportunity. We ran it as a club. We used funding that we'd got from Pupil Premium, those children that were involved, but we also used money for as a club, so children paid into it, could make a voluntary contribution, and that supplemented the cost and made it much more effective. But the outcomes were incredible. So the learning that happens is it just pays off dividends. And of course, that confidence that those pupils particularly gained, you can't measure that. Having the opportunity to be part of an evidence-based research project was really exciting. We took the lead on this and we worked with 8 other primary schools from across our trust. What it did was really endorse what we believed, and it gave us that evidence-based research as a real impact for helping us to develop it and extend it across more schools. Reflection was a key component to the whole project. We had class teachers reflect on it with their pupils after each session. We had teachers reflect on it from their own personal point of view as teacher, how it was changing their practice. Leaders also reflected, and alongside that our artists also made reflections. So this became really a strong component and part of our evidence. You can see a link here to my blog, where I actually, part of my journaling took place there. And then, of course, slap bang in the middle of the project, COVID happened. So what would this mean to us and to the project? We wanted to ensure that we maintained that teacher confidence that was had been developed over the first year and a half. We wanted to ensure that all our children were still being exposed to quality arts and culture. We wanted to make sure that where pedagogy and mindset had been changed, we wanted to encourage that and to really make sure that we were focusing on it. And we wanted to make sure that teachers were equipped to use the arts as a way of embedding learning across the curriculum. So key to it all was remembering that actually what the project had been about was equipping teachers. It had given teachers the confidence and it had given them new tools within their teaching toolkit. We wanted to ensure that there were places where teachers could get resources and actually get things ready to hand. So we provided a booklet across the schools that had taken part in the project. On our own school website, we have got a staff resource space again where people can dip in and out and get ideas. And we're in the process as a trust of developing an arts community. And again, really developing that place where networking can take place and we can share good practice and ideas with each other. A school project is a fantastic way to join your community across your school together. This is one that we did to really unite our children, and each of the children created a feather that went into the giant pair of wings that we have in our hall. So another key thing was being able to drop the arts into our everyday teaching and really encouraging our teachers to use arts as an opportunity to have those brain breaks that pupils sometimes need from the academic work that they're doing. There are amazing resources out there. Google Arts and Culture is fantastic. If you haven't come across the Blob Opera, I highly recommend that. Using your Google Maps as a means of taking pupils right to different destinations around the world, again, fantastic. The National Gallery do 5-minute meditation sort of blocks on different artists. Tate Gallery, some fantastic opportunities out there to share with pupils, and then really exposing our young learners to opera and ballet and things like that they might not have experienced or seen or heard of. Those are brilliant things to get dropped into the day and just to spend a couple of minutes exposing pupils to those things. And I think probably one of the most important things to say is surround yourself with like-minded people. Learn from others, network with them, get support, engage in what's working well out there, and really have those conversations, keep those conversations going with those like-minded people, and it'll really endorse what you're doing and reaffirm what you believe. And I strongly recommend that you just try and network within social media or within your own multi-academy trust or across other schools in your area. Having conversations with your school leaders is obviously really important. It's equally important to let the governing body know what you are doing and why you feel the arts is important, and to really have those conversations with your senior leadership in your school. Work with those teachers who you know are allies, you know they get it, and build up that strong core community within your own school. As I've said before, we're really fortunate in our multi-academy trust that our CEO has a strong belief in the arts. And as you can see here from what he says, we're really fortunate, and we have that impact from our leadership and our core central team, which really helps us to be able to endorse and deliver the arts within our schools. Please do get in touch with me if you have any thoughts or ideas or questions or things that you're just pondering about. Please use my email address or get in touch with me via Twitter. I'd love to hear from you and share ideas with you further. Thank you.